like 10 pairs of these.
Damn, 10 pairs. What color
But
is what color is that? Because I see the Louis V Millionaire frames, but you see all different kinds of colors. You see the clear
this one,
ones.
this one is like a smoke gray. But it's damn near you could pass for black, but it's not. Man, it's like dark gray, smoke gray. It's hard.
See, I've been looking at these glasses and I've been trying to find out if I can get my lenses put in because my eyesight, I can't see shit. I'm basically blind,
Oh,
so
right.
I'd got to put in the contacts if I want to wear a nice set of frames like that. You know.
You could do that though. For sure. You could do that. You could change the lens into the ones with the medicated for sure.
See, the thing is, I just feel like Louis Vuitton, they're going to charge me the bag to put in my special frames. I might be able to afford the frames, but then the lenses might be a
Right.
whole other story.
Nah, facts. Can they hear me now? The chat, they
Yeah,
good?
they got you. They're throwing the W's in the chat. They're saying they got you. And yeah, man. So we're here with 100K track, man. I'm really really glad to be here with you. Really appreciate you checking in, and I'm excited to talk to you, man. You know, I feel like we got a lot to talk about. You know, I'm a fan of you and what you've achieved, and you know what I'm saying. I feel like hopefully we're gonna have a really good conversation. Maybe you know, I'm down to answer some hard questions. Maybe you are too, but at the same time. You know, I'm gonna keep it respectful, and I'm just super excited to chop it up with you, man. Because realistically, I think we got two people here that love hip hop, and you know, what I'm saying, just want to see the scene flourish and see everybody do well. So, man, welcome, and you know, what I'm saying, thank you for coming through, man.
Nah, for sure. I mean, when I first, and I know I've been seeing a couple of your stuff because there's a lot of interesting content on your page. And when you dropped that where I was at, I was traveling, and my security guard was like, "Yo, bro, did you see this? The thing with Vaughn?" I'm like, "Huh?" Because I be so busy, man. Like it takes me probably a couple days to even like see what's going on in the world because I'm so in my own world. So when I seen it, I watched it. I'm like, I even DM'd you. I said, interesting. Hey, first thing I noticed was like, yo, this took a lot of time. This took a crazy amount of time, boy. I don't know how long you dedicate to do that, but that was something that took a lot of information, a lot of effort. So, you know, but I didn't put no I didn't really want to voice my opinion on it because I learned sometimes when stuff is too early and you voice your opinion, people take it the wrong way. So I let everybody else voice their opinion on it, and I just looked at it from an outside person looking at it. So.
Well, I really appreciate that, man, because it's interesting. When I dropped that documentary, and I worked on it for like, we're talking like 3 or 4 months. You know, I read every tweet Von ever made. I've always been a Von fan anyway, but like I re-listened to his whole catalog, you know, really carefully, really paid attention. And, you know, when that documentary came out, you know, some people really liked it. Some people didn't like it. You know, I was getting a lot of messages from a lot of different people. You know, some
Mm-hmm.
positive, some negative. Some people saying they're going to do all type of shit to me. But
Right.
you know what I'm saying? You know, you hit me up and like you said, you kind of you know, you pointed out that a lot of work went into that documentary, and you know, it wasn't really like I wasn't trying to disrespect Von or his people, but like I was
Mm-hmm.
really just trying to paint a picture of like the life this guy was living, and you know, a lot of
Right.
the things that he said and he spoke on, whether it was in his music or on his Twitter and stuff while he was alive, and
Yeah.
you know, a lot of people had opinions on that. You spoke about it recently on the Off the Record podcast with academics, and I
Yeah.
guess like before we get into like a sort of deep debate about you know Vaughn and what he was like you know I'd love to maybe for you to just kind of recap on like what your relationship was like with Vaughn, and like
Mm-hmm.
you spent a lot of time with Vaughn really like the height of
Mm-hmm.
his career when he was the man that everybody wanted to mess with in hip hop. So maybe you could just give
Right.
me a little rundown of like, you know, obviously you've had a long career, you've done a lot of different things, but how did you end up at the point where you were working with Vaughn and kind of, you know, working so closely with him, and what was that like?
Yeah. I mean, my relationship with Vaughn has always been you know what I'm saying, it's always been a brother type of relationship. You know, I was fortunate to be moving with YNW Melly before he turned himself in with his situation. And when we, you know, when we was moving around, we got introduced to, you know, to Dirk. We got introduced to the whole, you know, OTF camp. And Vaughn and Melly really, really locked in. Like they had a like an undeniable bond. You know what I'm saying? This was before Vaughn was really starting to go crazy. I'm talking about like early. You feel me? So you know, just moving around with Melly every day, and then Vaughn being around. So I actually hang with Vaughn way before I started managing him. Like before we got into business together, we was like just hanging like friends, like like brothers first.
Mm.
So I got a chance to really just get to know him personally, and then from there, when Melly got incarcerated, the crazy story dropped. He had a couple things going on. He had a couple legal situations in Atlanta. Me and him end up situating a couple stuff together. Financially and just having his back as a big brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm not too much older than Vaughn. Probably like 3 years older than Vaughn.
Mm.
So maybe four. So we was always close. When it comes to like just being just having the same type of perspective. But I just had his back. Just had his back on some situations before we got into business, and from me just having his back genuinely, he called me one day from jail and was just like, "Hey, bro, like I want you to manage me. I want you to, what I'm saying? I want you to be my manager. I see what you do with Melly, see what you do with your brand. I would love for you to do that with me." And at first I was skeptical on it because I'm like, yo, you with Dirt. I don't want Dirt to feel like, or nobody in the camp to feel like I'm trying to step on nobody's toes. It was never my intention to, what I'm saying, to come and take Vaughn away from nobody. Like I just rock with him as a person. So me and him had a conversation, multiple conversation. I turned it down multiple times to a point where he called. He was like, "Bro, forget the business. I need you to manage me as a brother. Like that's why I really want you to be my manager because I trust you. I trust your judgment. I see you really care for me." So when he approached me like that, I'm like, okay, let me, what I'm saying, let's do it. And we got with Dirk on the phone, spoke to Dirk, multiple times. And we all came to the agreement. He was super, super excited about it. He like, "Yo, track, I rock with you. I love what you got going on. You always been a good dude, what I'm saying, in my eyes, man, go ahead." So, he gave me his blessings on that because, I didn't want to make it feel awkward. So once Dirk gave me the blessings and we all was in, cahoots with that idea, we just locked it in. And then from there, it was legendary. We just went in.
So you got involved with Von, and you kind of took him on as a client, I guess you'd say.
Mm-hmm.
And as you said, you kind of were, you were getting to know him at the early stages of his career. It seems like when Crazy Story dropped, that kind of just set a bomb off and just took
Yeah.
Von to a whole other level, right? So I'd love to know
Yep.
from your perspective, from being on the inside, just like what was life like when that change was going on? Because obviously, whatever you want to say about Von or the stuff that he did in the past, he got
Mm-hmm.
to a point in life where he became, a millionaire, a celebrity, and you kind
Yeah.
of watched that transformation. So I'd love to
Yeah.
know what it was like for you to witness that happening, and like what was it like being around him in that time?
Exciting because it's like it's at that time is when the money's coming in, the shows, the 10,000s, 20,000s a show, thirty
Mm.
thousand. He's traveling different states as Vaughn, not as Dirk Homie, as his own entity. So it was just to see the growth and just to see him being happy, man, being able to just like buy the clothes he wants, dress the way he want to dress, take care of his homeboys, take care of his family. What I'm saying? It was a very exciting time. It made me really feel like, damn, like you really have second chances in life. Like you could be facing life, or you could be, what I'm saying, in a situation where you homeless or have nothing, and in the mass of like months and a little bit under a year, you could get everything you ever wanted. So it was a good feeling to see him being able to, what I'm saying, like prosper like that.
Yeah, man.
So
I think when it comes to like for me, I'm somebody that's studied King Von, over a long period of time, and it's almost like the guy had two different chapters of his life. He had that time when he was, whether he want in the streets or like still in the struggle, and then he kind of broke through, got out of jail, and changed his life and became this superstar. And I guess
right.
it must be interesting and inspiring to see somebody go from you know the situation they were in before to becoming this guy. Something that really stood out to me was he bought his mother a house right
Yeah.
in the suburbs and stuff, and that's something not a lot of people get to do, right?
Nope. And yeah, that was fire, man. Bought her a house, bought her a car. He did everything he had to do as a young man, as a son, as a brother, as a friend. So away from his death, what I'm saying, I'm very happy and proud to see what he was able to do for everybody else before his untimely passing. So it's a blessing. Because like you said, you could live to be 99 years old, 100 years old, and never get a chance to do that what he did for his family and his people. So, you know, that's a very proud moments, a lot of proud moments.
For sure. So I heard you talking on the Off the Record podcast, and I'm not going to press you on too much stuff specifically, but I guess yourself and a few other people have kind of, especially people close to Von, have kind of come out since my documentary and kind of said, you don't necessarily believe that Von did all of those things or that those
Mm-hmm.
things aren't proven. I guess just
Mm-hmm.
something I feel like I got to ask you off the bat, and I'm not trying to catch you out, but
Mm-hmm.
do you believe that Von killed anyone, or do you believe that some of the stories about him are true, or do you believe it's all false? Just so we can kind of get as a starting point, like what your position is on
Right.
the stuff you got up
I
to.
mean, the thing is, right, when you says when you say do you believe, I mean, shit, I believe in a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? And some for good, some for bad, and that's just not what just Vaughn is with other individuals as well. But when you ask me, do I feel like he killed somebody, I could only go based on an answer that's in reality no, because he haven't been convicted for anything. And yeah, I know you've seen my episode with academics, and that was one of my strong points. Is like I, I I'm okay with everybody being expressive, and I'm okay with with fans and supporters and anybody having their own what I'm saying thought of what they thought or what they think he is or was. But in reality, Bond has never been convicted of no murder, no charges. So no, he haven't killed anybody. So I only could go based on what's present. You know what I'm saying? I can't stretch my imagination to be like, yeah, I think he killed somebody. Yeah, I think he got 10 bodies. Yeah, I think he don't. Because in reality, he went to court, went to trial for these things, and he was found not guilty. So no, me personally, I don't believe Vaughn had killed anybody because he never got caught convicted of any of those charges. You know?
So I guess the follow up that I got to ask to that is kind of like, what were you thinking of all the stuff he was saying in his music? Because I think something that's been really difficult for me to process after I put this video out and I had so much backlash was like, when Von was alive, it seemed like the thing about him that everyone was excited about was that he was the realist. Von's the realist. Like, everything he says is facts. And he's on songs saying he killed 7 people and that they killed the witnesses in his case, and that's why he beat the case. So
Right.
it's one of those ones where it's kind of like, obviously, I understand that
Mm-hmm.
people that are involved with other people got to keep it solid. But I feel like at the same time, it's sort of really, it's been really interesting for me to kind of see so many people come out and sort of kind of say like it's all cap. Really, it's essentially in
Mm-hmm.
a way you're kind of saying that all the stuff that Von was talking about when he was here in his songs was
Mm-hmm.
cap.
I personally, I'm not saying it was cap, right? Because I don't know. I can't tell you. I wasn't with him. Like, if we talk about the timeline of me knowing Vaughn, unfortunately, it wasn't the timeline where he's in O Block looking for a op now and drilling and things like that and trying to get revenge for his fallen comrades and his friends and his family. Now, does all of those scenarios affect a decision where he might potentially had to protect himself or had to go do things that most of us human beings wouldn't do, which is take a life? Maybe. Could be yes. So I'm not saying anything, Cap. He have maybe he have 7 bodies? Maybe he got 10? Maybe. I can't tell you yes and I can't tell you no because I wasn't there physically with him at that time. When I met him, he was trying to change his life and he was already an artist who was, doing things different. But can I tell you that for a fact? I know 1,000% that he have killed somebody. No, because in the eyes of the law, he never been found guilty. So I only could go based on that strand of the reality part is that he's never been convicted of murder. So no, I don't think he have any bodies because he never been convicted. I know Jeffrey Dahmer got convicted. I know a couple of my homeboys that's charged right now for murder that's got convicted. And you ask me, yo, do so and so kill somebody? Yes, he did. He got found guilty for doing it. So I could say yes because in the eyes of the law, he's been proven guilty. Now, Vaughn, I can't say that because it's every case he ever had got dismissed. So you know what I'm saying? His verdict was always innocent. So
People in the chat are saying, would you say OJ is guilty or innocent?
OJ was what, not guilty, right?
Yeah, but come on.
I mean, what you want me to say? Yeah. Hey, the judge and the jury, y'all got to tell them that's what they felt like. It was not guilty. You know what I'm saying?
It's a fair answer. You know, you got to keep it solid. I think OJ got a couple of bodies, but you know what I'm saying, is what it is. But no, back to what you were saying. You know, I think, you know, I understand that. I think you know, some people got to keep it solid, and that's the way they got to see it. Some people got to see it just from taking what he said on its merits and from his word. You know, I think for me as a fan, you know, I mentioned this when I did the debate with academics about Von, and he was kind of saying like, you know, why would you say this about Von? And my explanation was like, look, I was a fan of Von's music before I even thought to do a video about him. I was just a fan listening to his music and thinking, God damn, this guy's saying he got hella bodies, and you know what I'm saying, is this true? Like I got to go and look this up, and you know, it was only through looking it up and being like, it seems like it all checks out. Like seems like story checks out, and he's doing this stuff. But I guess what you said, I think that's really interesting is it's like, you know, you didn't meet Von when he was in the streets, supposedly he says he was catching bodies back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
but you didn't know him at that point.
No, I didn't.
And I guess it's a case of like, you know, Von was clearly a very charismatic dude and very charming. Do you think that, you know, do you feel like, do you ever feel like you get the sense that maybe you were like, people were kind of charmed by Von, or you know, it's because I've watched a lot of recent footage of him being a fun, smiling, happy guy, and it sort of feels
Yeah.
like it's hard to believe that dude would kill anyone. But then you see the old tweets, and you're kind of like, he's saying he did. So you know, can you tell me a bit about his personality and whether you felt
Yeah.
maybe his charm disarmed people?
Right. I mean, the thing is, I will never say that or I would never say like, or I don't think that Vaughn wouldn't kill somebody, because let's look at the reality of the situation. And you know what I'm saying? I'm playing devil's advocate here as well, because if I'm in a place like Chicago where my friends are constantly targets and I'm a target, and I'm hey, 8 times out of 10, I might have to defend myself to a point where it might be a chance where I might have to take somebody's life to protect my own. So, you know, of course. But as far as him as an individual, man, the man was very, you know what I'm saying? He's a outgoing person, sense of humor, never try to be too tough, never try to be too gangster, was always cool, was always he was, you know, he was comfortable in his skin. He'll smile, he'll laugh, he'll joke, he'll cry. If he's sad, he'll cry. Like he'll cry in front of you. You know what I'm saying? He didn't feel like he had to hold any type of image for nobody. And he loved sports. You know what I'm saying? He loved being active. So he was somebody that every time he get a chance to, he rather have a good conversation to be in a good mood. He wasn't really the one that's like a Debbie Downer where it's like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I don't like this. I hate this ain't going right. He was very, very like optimistic.
It's interesting what you say. You know, I think Von, obviously he was, you know, he seems like a complicated man. He clearly, whether or not you believe that he, you know, was put in the situation where he had to kill somebody to defend himself or to defend his people, he clearly went through a lot. And you know, I got sympathy for anybody that's placed in a situation where it's kill or be killed, and you have to defend yourself. And you know, I don't mean to demonize anybody that's been in that situation. I think the aspect I think a lot of people came at me at was over the idea that like I labeled Von as this serial killer, when you know a lot of people from difficult environments are placed in a situation where they got to defend themselves and use force.
Yeah.
I think something that I wanted to make clear to people is it's like, look, I don't think Von is a serial killer because he had to kill to survive in a dangerous environment. You know, I felt like he crossed that line when he made so much music about, you know, the murders, and then also, you know, kind of really reveled in the continuation of murder, and kind of like, you know, whether you the situation of Man or kind of you know, FBG Duck losing his life. I think it was always Von's attitude of being, you know, really kind of like celebrating death and celebrating murder. You know, something I wanted to ask you really as somebody that was on the inside, like, did you ever feel like, when, for example, when Duck was killed, what did you see from Von around that time? He obviously was online sort of celebrating and was happy about Duck dying, whether or not you believe he had anything to do with it. But like,
Mhm.
did you feel like you saw a side of him where, he was happy about death?
The thing about Duck murder is an ongoing case, and I do have clients, Muab, and I got close friends, like Charles and Lowe's that is, you know, um, facing those charges. So there's not too much I can say about it because I don't want anything on my counsel to say. I don't want to say anything, and then now because I got ties with these guys, that it affects their case. So I'm gonna just very simply just deny any question with Duck. But I can't say when someone lose their life in that type of environment, it's celebrated by the other side, regardless of if they have involvement in it anyway. So if Duck was alive, vice versa, and Vaughn or somebody else would, to lose their life, I'm pretty sure Duck in that camp would be happy or would be, what I'm saying, would have a smile on their face. So I don't doubt that for sure. Like he probably was happy, and maybe that whole neighborhood was happy. Not to say they were involved, but it's just that's the type of trauma they had with each other. Once either or side passed, the other side seemed to, what I'm saying, find enjoyment out of that. So
I get where you're coming from. So I understand maybe you don't want to answer anything specifically on the Duck situation, but you did just mention you manage Muwop, and
yes,
I think that that's something that I found interesting because before Muwop went away, his career was starting to come up, and he was releasing
yeah,
a lot of music, and I really liked, I liked a lot of the songs that Muwop released when he was out here, and you there's that song Track Still with it's Muwop, is it Boss Top too, right?
Boss Stop and DQ
And
from
DQ. And that's a hard track, and
appreciate it.
I had that on heavy rotation when that came out.
Bro.
Um,
That was my first single back with music after 5 years, so I'm pretty excited about that record.
yeah, man, that made a big splash. I guess the thing I wanted to ask maybe more on the Muwop front is it's sort of like you know what's the motivation when it comes to working with a guy like Muwop? I guess there's a personal relationship there when it comes to Von, but I think it's the same. It begs the same question I think with Von, where it's kind of like if you just take a step back and look at the content of Muwop's music, I think he was making good songs and he was clearly had a lot of potential as a rapper, but he had that same thing as King Von where you kind of felt like he's maybe talking a little too reckless on some of these songs, and that's kind of how I felt when I heard some of those songs. So, when you signed or when you started working with Muwop, was there ever a sense of sort of feeling like, maybe this guy's music's too raw or too real, or kind of, what was your feeling on that front?
Um, to be real with you, bro, like Muwap was very early in his career as an artist, so he had to learn how to really put words together and lyrics together, and he started to get the hang of it. But I enjoyed working with Muwap. I'm very close to the whole old block, the whole Get Back Gang party, was just from moving with Vaughn, just having my own personal relationship. So if I could help any of them change their life for the better and keep it changed for the better, then I'm always gonna be, what I'm saying, head first with that drive. So man, free move out, man, and what I'm saying. Hopefully, God willing, that situation did not occur like how they mentioned, and he gets his freedom. And if it did occur like that, then he got to, what I'm saying, he got to face the consequences. Like anything you do as a man in life, you got to be able to stand on your own too for whatever decision you make. But what I'm saying, I would hate to see it happen like that because there's so much potential in Muwap from just the same charismatic energy, the same charming look and vibe that he gives out to the public, and the realness of the streets that's in him just from his environment. Now, Muwap is a dope artist, a dope person, man, a real cool guy, somebody I consider a friend and a brother. So what I'm saying, I'm hoping the best for it. But I don't. I kind of like play a thin line when it comes to my clients and my artists as well because it's like I have to do my job as an executive, as a record label, as a manager. to ensure your success. That's how I eat. That's how I see my family, my kids. That's how you see your family and kids. So regardless of what content you give me, I'm gonna do my best to package it, to sell it, to market it, to make it the best it could be. Now, if you come with butterflies and if you come with suicidal thoughts, if you come with murderous conversations, I'm. It's a thin line for me before I jump in and say, "Hey, bro, you sure you want to talk about that?" Because if you are man enough and everybody's over 18, and if you are man enough to put that on a record and you putting that energy out, then it's not my job to fix your corrections. It's my job to make sure it gets the best potential marketing and and put it out the best way and make sure it's received in a way where it's business and it's professional. So I'm not here to change nobody's dialogue, concept or how they feel like in life. Everybody go through their own motions. Everybody got their own, you know what I'm saying, got their own thought of you know, thought frame of mind, mentality, whatever you want to call it. So I'm not me as a 100K track. I'm not here to change nobody on how they want to present themselves. I'm just here to make sure you present yourself in an honorable way, in a way that is going to be efficient for you to provide for yourself, and for me to make sure my business is being done right, and we take it from there. You know what I'm saying?
I really respect that you said that, especially when it comes to Moo Warp. I think because I think one of the things that I've been finding difficult with a lot of the stuff going around is this idea of people kind of denying Von did any of these things, even though I can accept he wasn't convicted in a court of law for a murder, but he said a lot of times that he thought he did, he was killing shit. But like you said about Muwap, I think that's I really respect you saying that. As far as like you hope that things didn't go down the way that people are saying they did, but if they did and he gets convicted, he's got to take the consequences. I think as a man, and I think that's something I really respect you saying that, because I think I've almost felt like so many people have been kind of like denying that Von was involved in all these things, and I get where they're coming from, but I think in a way it's sort of wrong to kind of gaslight the victims and the victims' families that they have their opinion about what happened, and obviously nobody's been caught, and the Von's no longer here and stuff. But like you say, I think with Muwop, I'm a big fan of Muwop's music, and I think it's sort of you got to let the courts play out, and you got to let the evidence come out and all that kind of thing. I guess that brings us to the next situation what I want to talk about, which obviously is YNW Melly. He's facing really serious charges. I'm a huge Melly fan. I love Melly's music. I've got Melly songs that I've spun. I think some of my top songs of each year when I get Spotify of the songs I've played the most. There's always some Melly on there. So I was devastated to hear the news that Melly was sitting down for a minute, especially the situation and stuff, which I'm sure you're not going to want to talk on. But I guess what I want to ask you on that front is like, I'm really hoping that Melly's case can kind of draw to a conclusion soon, and we're going to get a result one way or the other. But what was your experience of spending time with Melly? Because he didn't have that reputation that Von had as someone that had all of these bodies, but he did have a reputation as a tough guy in the streets that didn't take any shit. So what was your experience like running around with Melly? And then, I'd love to know maybe how you feel about the case and just, how you hope it's going to go.
I mean, moving on, Melly that's my first artist, other than Jack Boy, with Sniper Gang, that I managed. So you know what I'm saying. Melly was more like of somebody to me that introduced me to a new world when it comes to like success, because the level of success he attained at a very early career, I was able to travel the world. I was able to meet a lot of people. I was able to experience life in a different way financially. So I got a lot of love and a lot of respect for Melly and a lot of appreciation, a lot of gratitude, and vice versa. Him for me, you know what I'm saying? Because taking him under my wing and pushing him and breaking him as an artist and always being supportive, he knows. I know he feels the same way about me. But man, Melly's is an amazing person. Like his music stays, speak it for himself. Like the way he is on the record, the way he's able to make you feel comfortable, the way he's able to make you feel loved, the way he's able to make you feel feared, feel, you know what I'm saying, concerned. He channeled emotions through music, and he's like that in real life. So just being with him, I learned so much on just being, you know what I'm saying, like a human, just seeing how he's able to just his emotions and his thoughts and the way he's able to put it in, out on paper, or just he walked in his feelings basically. You know what I'm saying? He wears his heart on his sleeves. So you know what I'm saying? Free Melly. Case wise, I personally don't believe this young man will be at fault for killing his two best friends. That he got tatted on his face. That he did everything for. I moved with Sack and Juvie.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't just moving around with Melly. I moved with the whole YNW. So I was able to see hands on that experience Sack had with him, Juvie had with him. And I honestly, if Melly could hurt and potentially kill his two friends, then I wouldn't be able to like even see it coming, because he never showed that type of energy in person. Like it was always like Second Juvie was always someone that he loves, and always, it was people that he cherished and wanted to see. This man bought a 5-bedroom house, moved his friends there, Second Juvie, like his first couple hundreds of thousands, he gave the money. Like when he went shopping, they went shopping. And it wasn't no do it, you know what I'm saying, like extortion. It was like he genuinely loved to see them happy, just like how they would love to see him happy. So man, I think that whole scenario is baffling, bro, because it's like you got the prosecutor, you got the police telling the world and telling myself and telling everybody else that this man committed his crimes. And to those two individuals, these ain't wearing no ops. These wasn't sliding on the block. So I don't personally. I think this case is gonna be is going down in history for wrongfully accused. But like Melly's gonna come out. He's gonna be victorious. He's gonna prove he's innocent. He's gonna take his career to the next level. He's gonna continue supporting Stack and Juvie family. He's gonna continue doing the best things he was doing for the community that he was, which was Gifford and Vero Beach, and putting on for those kids out there. And I don't think the world's gonna be shocked. I really think the world knows Melly's innocent. I feel like the people that have the doubts, that think that he potentially could do that, when the answer comes out, they're gonna be like, you know what, I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like this man was obviously mistaken identity, obviously accused of something due to his demographic, due to his looks, due to his environment. I feel like he was a target for that situation.
Yeah, I think I'm a huge Melly fan, right? It's almost like the selfish part of me just wants Melly to beat the case so I can get another Melly album. That's the selfish
I mean,
part
you're
of
gonna
me.
get that. You're gonna get that regardless. You beat the case, don't beat the case. Melly's dropping more music.
Hey,
So
that's good news. I think when it comes to the case, I think I'd been following Melly's career, and I think as well, like I saw that documentary where I think the documentary was released after Sack and Juvie passed away, but
yeah,
he's in that documentary with them, and it's sort of it's feels just impossible that these four friends would go for it to go down like that. I think anybody that's followed Melly and his crew closely just found that really hard to believe. But I guess the question I want to ask you, almost like mirroring what we said with what was said earlier, was I think from a fan perspective and from a friend perspective, you want it to work out that they're innocent, but if they are found guilty, is that something where you feel like you can accept that just that's it is what it is, that's how it went down, and unfortunately it went that way? Or are you not going to be able to accept like that maybe that did happen if when all the evidence comes out, and maybe it just wasn't how you thought?
right. Yo, to be real with you, Pap, God forbid, and I know, I'm saying, all my heart, and I got a lot of faith in our system, and I got a lot of faith in, just the higher power. I don't feel like Melly's life and career and legacy ends like this,
Mm.
right? I feel like he's so much greater, so much bigger than that. There's somebody whose talent is out this world. So I don't feel like the universe itself wanted to end like that. But playing devil's advocate, if Melly was to be found guilty, that shit would fuck me up.
Mm.
Not only because I'm losing a friend and a brother, because remember, they're gonna give him the death penalty. They're not just throwing him in prison for life, so they're gonna kill him. So that's another funeral, basically. But I think me personally, that shit will fuck me up because I'll be blindsided because I will never see it coming because I never seen anything where that would be the route taken for sacking Juvie off Melly. So if he do get found guilty and there's undeniable evidence that shows it, personally, I would be broken and I would have my trust issues will probably flare up times 10. Because if Melly could do that to his friend, then what can anybody else do to somebody like me that gives that type of impression of family and friendship and stuff? So that would fuck me up. I'm not gonna lie. I'll probably go in a bubble and be very, very, very like very attentive of what's going on around me. Like I wouldn't give nobody no pass. Nobody, because if he could do that, then anybody could do that. You know what I'm saying? That's how strongly I feel about their relationship that they had. So I and then I would want to know why, like from him, why?
Mhm. I
What
think
happened?
I think that's the single thing that I think the Melly fans just can't make sense of. Even for me, I follow the case closely and I want to know the truth, but nobody's really offered anything up as far as like why would he do this. You could see
Right.
from all the social media posts and the interviews that those guys were really tight, and it just doesn't make sense. So I can see where
Yo,
you're
they
coming
on
from.
his face. They on his face, bro. Like,
Mm.
let me take off the glasses. They are here and here
Mm.
alive. Do you know how much love you gotta have for somebody to put them on your face?
Yeah, man.
So,
Well,
yeah, no,
it's he's been waiting for trial for what is it? Damn near 3 years now, 4 years.
yeah, four,
Wow.
going to 4.5.
I feel like every month they're saying, the verdict's coming in the next few months, and it just keeps getting delayed. It was meant to be like January, right,
No,
or something.
it can't be no verdict coming. The jury, we just picking juries.
I just feel like a lot of the blogs, they're just posting like, Melly results coming soon, coming soon, coming soon.
Yeah,
But
they just clickbaiting, man, because you got to go through the whole process before you have a verdict. I don't feel like Melly get a verdict till August, September.
really, wow.
Yes, so that's no, that's fun facts for you
Mm,
guys. There's no verdict coming till August, September. So
damn.
the
Um,
trial did start. Everything is happening, but I personally don't see a verdict happening until late August, September because you still got to pick the jury, go to the defense, go to the motions, go. You know what I'm saying? It's a premeditated murder case, death penalty. Then it's a death penalty case, so it's another step before you get to the case. You know what I'm saying?
mm. It's crazy, man. I think anyone that's a fan of Melly is just hoping that it works out and that it's not as it all seems. But hopefully we'll find
Yeah,
out soon. Um, it's something I want to ask you about, and I know a lot of other people want me to ask you about. I totally understand if it's not something you want to talk about, and I'll respect that if that's the case. But would you be willing to talk about the night that King Von passed, and you obviously were
yeah,
there?
of course. I mean, it's my personal experience, so I'm always down to talk about it. I'm not against. I'm someone like I'm comfortable in my truth. I'm comfortable in what I'm saying and what's going on around me, and I'm not dumb. So I'm never against talking about something. It's a conversation. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that, man. And I know you've spoken about it several times before. I don't want you to just repeat the same stuff everybody else has asked you. So maybe I can
Yeah.
ask you a few new things and a few things that maybe will give people a bit more insight as to what was going on. So obviously that night, you were all kind of out watching and supporting King Von play a show. I see it's in my documentary, kind of the footage of Von at that show, and he's in good spirits. He's with his boys.
Mm-hmm.
It's all positive. So it's kind of, I think from a lot of people watching that, I think it was kind of almost hard to believe that just, how the hell did shit transpire in such a weird way? So, I feel like I've heard you before kind of say that maybe you didn't realize, or it just didn't seem like that there was any tension, or that Von was, going to have a beef with someone or try and catch someone lacking that night. So
Oh yeah,
what was like what was just the vibe that evening, as far as you're all just out having a good time? Obviously,
yeah.
he ends up going to a location that wasn't what you thought, but like just generally, like what was the vibe that night? I
The
imagine it was
vibe.
positive.
So yeah, the vibe. It was Boss Top birthday, right? So I remember, they called me for this show, right? I take Von bookings very seriously because I know the level he was at, right? Just the world. there's a lot of things that we spoke about in the interviews, but the world don't know. That night, Vaughn did not go out really to for like work, because that show was, man, was so low and cheap. I denied it. Like, yo, bro, no, we're not doing that. And he called me, and his DJ called me, and he was like, yo, bro, that's all they could do. Like, man, I'm charging 40, 50,000, man. I'm not, no, we're not doing that. But Vaughn called me and was like, hey, no, Track, let's do it. I want to go because it's Boss Stop birthday. And Boss Stop, you know what I'm saying, haven't really celebrated his birthday like that. And he had like the project just dropped, the album Welcome to Old Block. He was super excited. I think we was number one on Apple Music. It didn't go through billboards all that yet, but we was number one on Apple Music. It was a moment of just of accomplishment. He was just like, yo, it felt so good. He just wanted to enjoy it with his fans and enjoy it with his friends and his family. So we took the booking and we went to that original venue, which I don't remember the name of the venue at this point. But after that booking, it was over. Like the show was good. It was a special guest. He performed when he had the blue outfit on. That's when you
Mm.
see us in the picture and everybody. It was great. So when that show finished, it was all positive vibes. It was the same. It was the same environment, and he wanted to keep the night going. And this is where I'm actually a little confused too, because now over time pass by and I'm learning more information from the internet and I'm seeing more things and I'm here thinking like, damn, was it like, I don't know if he planned to go to that after hour spot and we just didn't know about it. And Chicago culture is so weird, like where like they'll talk to their ops, they'll FaceTime, they I don't know, it's a little different over there. So I don't know per se if it was planned for him to go there, because there's a lot of speculations like, oh, he was set up, this was that. Bro, the person that made the decision to go to the after hour spot was Vaughn. Wasn't me, wasn't his team. Like, I literally had to redirect the whole party, everybody he was with, to the after hour spot. Like, yo, where Vaughn at? Oh, because I jumped in another car, right? I jumped in another car and stuff like that. So when he's heading over there, I'm like, damn, okay, cool. Everybody, let's head over there. So we go over there. He's in the car. He's chilling. He's relaxing. It's cold. He got female with him in the car. He's doing what he do. I don't take nothing for it. So by the time Quando comes to the area, there's not a booking. Nobody's booked. So there's a million other places, but I guess that spot is the after hour spot, because you got to realize we went to the party. Now this is the after hour spot. So there's not too many clubs that's open 4 or 3 in the morning. So maybe Quando was on the same type of vibe to go, somewhere where to keep the night going. Everybody want to keep the night going, want to keep having fun. People drinking, they have, they own, they smoking, they got women. So, they want to keep the night going. So that situation, if it happened like that where they both naturally pulled up to the spot and they ran into each other, then I don't feel like Vaughn played it where he came out there for trouble. I think it just happened to go that way, where so and so having a weapon and the fight and all that, and it led to that. But I personally, it wasn't that atmosphere that night, because I'm going back to what you're saying, how the atmosphere was.
Mm.
It wasn't tense and violent. It was like everybody was just having a good time. Like, it was genuinely a positive and happy time. So that little switch, when we got there and all that happened, it escalated to violence. It was, I was blindsided by it, and a lot of people was blindsided by it, because that wasn't the temperament that was around that night. If that whole night we was on some like, yo, we trying to find this is the then I would have been like, damn, okay, I knew this was gonna happen. But it was really more part. He took a small booking to go have fun to celebrate his cousin and his release.
Mm.
So the whole night was happy. It wasn't a negative vibe, you know.
I,
but
ge-
I
I
can't
feel
call
you,
it.
man. It seems like, from my research, and bear in mind, I'm just a guy in England trying to find out what happened to one of his favorite rappers, right? I'm not trying to expose anyone or trick anyone,
Hmm.
but I think there's a couple of things I think people made a big deal out of.
Hmm.
There was one recording that seemed to show, when Von's trucks were driving away from that venue where the first show was. They were saying the car was playing Youngboy's music. Is that something you remember, or is that just a coincidence?
Um, I mean, I'm not doubting that one of the cars will play YoungBoy. YoungBoy is one of the biggest artists of this generation. You can't take that away from him. Like I play YoungBoy music. You know what I'm saying? Like and even at that time, if they did have a situation, because a lot of people think when I say these things, I'm being political. I don't listen. Go ask everybody else you want to ask. Me as a 100K track, I did not know my artist, my client, my homeboy, my friend had a problem with that count. I did not know that. I personally didn't know that. Whatever you feel like may happen with his women, with his baby mama, with his Asian dog, whatever, that's cool. But you guys got to realize that just because everybody else may think they know, I don't mean I personally had to recall that they had an issue. So I'm not doubting the Cars was playing Young Boy because it wouldn't be a reason not to play Young Boy.
No, totally. It's one of those things where it's almost like it's a detail that it really stands out, but it doesn't really mean anything.
Right.
Another thing that I think is interesting that it's not really relevant to that night, but you mentioned you guys were kind of celebrating Von. I think Welcome to O Block went number 13
Roblox.
on Welcome to when
Yeah, it went number 13 on Billboard, but it was number one on Apple Music. And that was
mm,
his first time ever having a project that's number one on Apple Music. And to him and to us at that time, yo, that's an accomplishment because he's number one on Apple Music. We didn't get a chance to see the Billboard reactions till way later.
oh, really? Because another thing I thought was interesting, which I don't think a lot of people picked up on, was Welcome to O Block. It essentially knocked Youngboy off of the chart down to number 14, and Von basically jumped above Youngboy on the charts. I was curious to know whether that was something he reacted to or noticed, or if he ever even mentioned, or maybe he just was oblivious to that.
No, he didn't get it. He didn't get it. I don't think he got a chance to. He died before he was going Billboard. That was
Damn,
after his death. But
damn.
we were celebrating Apple Music
Mm,
being number one on Apple Music. Like the Billboard and all that stuff came after. So that happened like that, and it happened just by the universe. Feel
wow,
me? He didn't even know. Like Vaughn didn't get a chance to see what number that happened on Billboard. He died like 3 4 days. It
damn.
takes a week for Billboard to put the stats and sales and stuff.
Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that he never got a chance to kind of see, because that would have probably been his biggest Billboard charting hit,
Yeah.
and kind of.
Well, other than what it means to be a king that dropped last year. Yeah. But no, he didn't get a chance to because you know what I'm saying. But if we was celebrating that we was number one on Apple Music, for
Mm.
sure it was number one on Apple Music.
That's the thing, man, because the project was huge. I remember when it
Mhm.
dropped, and obviously, Von passing away kind of overshadowed how well the project was doing before he passed. It was kind of everywhere. Anybody that listens to this sort of street hip hop drill music, it was the project, and like,
It felt polished. It felt like a
mm,
polished drill album that you heard a lot of albums, but you never had a storytelling artist, drill type of artist polish a project like that where there's a women records and there's storytelling records, then there's drill ready to go, you know what I'm saying, bag of body records, and there's
mm.
sentimental. So yeah, he that album was amazing. He found it. He found that loophole from being a drill rapper, but not abandoning it, but polishing it to where drill is mainstream. You feel me?
Mm. Yeah,
So
man. It's crazy what he achieved. I guess going back to that night, obviously, you were shot in that incident, right?
yeah, I got hit in the leg.
Man, I'm sorry to hear that. I can't imagine what that's like. I never been shot, but what I'm saying, I
That was
can't.
my first time being shot too, so that was a crazy experience.
So I guess I want to know. It seems like that moment when all of that shit went down was chaos, and no doubt that that's going to be something traumatic for you to remember on. So if you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to get too in detail, I understand. But
Mm-hmm.
what was your experience of that like? Because like you say, you got shot, so you're probably
Mm-hmm.
worrying about you getting shot, not necessarily all the stuff that's going on. A lot of people have seen the CCTV
Yeah.
footage, but what I'm saying, that's in this perspective. that nobody in the situation actually had. You're there. You probably
Yeah.
only seeing a few things going on. So what was your experience of what went down? Like, when did you where were you when you heard shots fired, and then where did you end up when shit calmed down?
Okay. So there's a lot of different like views and perspective with that night, and a lot of people confuse me with someone else.
Mm,
I guess because maybe we look similar. Maybe my hair length. Well, no, not really, because my hair was way longer at that time. But yeah, um, so I'm the person that came from the other side. So the whole crowd, and well, not the whole crowd because we walk to the crowd. So we leave the car, we walk in
mm,
for what I'm saying, for some reason, and it's like I can't like call it like, bro, like I'm not here to give y'all a scientific answer, like, bro, it just happened that way. I personally said, you know what? I'm not gonna go that way. I'm gonna go this way,
mm,
right? It just happened. So I'm walking on the opposite side of everything because I didn't take it that it was gonna escalate or things like that. Because I'm like, all right, cool. We go like everybody. We're going to the club. Even though Vaughn temperament was a little fiery, I'm not taking it anything where it's about to be going down. So I'm walking on the other side of him, and then we all meet. By the time I get across where he's at, he's already fighting and already going down. I'm backing up. I'm backing up. I'm backing up. I had the black stuff on, the black jacket on, stuff like that. I'm backing up. I'm backing up. And then all I hear is "Doo, doo, 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 doo." And then I felt like a like a pain go through my body. I'm like, oh, you feel me? And then I just started my adrenaline pumping, and I I know I'm hit, but I don't know where I'm shot at. Like, so at that time, I'm complete first time getting shot, first time in a situation, and it's not the situation where I'm seeing like what's going on. Like this is all happening so fast, so I'm really figuring out like let me go find out, let me go find safety, let me go take shelter to see where I got hit at. So I left like when it's all going down. Like I think a lot of people mistake me for the gentleman that was by the door, that was walking to the door and walking back to the car. Like, yo, y'all wrong. Like I don't even know half of that is going on. I'm seeing that later on, like y'all seeing it, because by the time I got shot, I go to the other part. Like I'm running or walking to the other part of the lot, and I'm trying to figure out where I got shot at, and I still can't find where I got shot at. It's to a point where like I start bleeding, and I start feeling my like leg going numb. I'm like, oh, I got shot in the leg somewhere, but I don't know where. So what I'm saying, I'm taking cover. There's more bullets, more shots, more shooting going on. I'm trying to find a car just running people low. Yo, that shit was like a massacre. Like
mm,
a lot of people take that day and they justify it based on just King Von because he was the artist who was the one that died. But yo, random people got ran over by cars, other friends got shot. That shit was really like one of the worst things you could experience. It was damn near a mass shooting. It's like because you don't know where it's coming from. So by the time I'm figuring out what's going on, I'm ducking, dodging. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if somebody's coming to shoot me more. I don't know if other people are shooting. Feel me? I was just trying to find safety. And when things calm down a little bit, all the cars is gone. My security guard is looking. You know what I'm saying? They looking for me in cars. Man, my leg is already numb at that point. I don't even feel my leg. They put me in the car, go straight to the hospital. So I'm you know what I'm saying? I'm blindsided by everything. I'm catching. I found out I didn't even know Vaughn got shot. I found out Vaughn got shot after I'm in the hospital. I'm getting told like Vaughn is shot, Vaughn is shot, because I don't know any of that happened. The car driving off, none of that. The low Tim and the get shot, whatever. The car, like I don't know anything. I get hit. I'm trying to figure out where I got hit. I'm taking cover. So I find out everything after that. All that happens. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy, man. I've seen that footage probably 100 times, and even every time you see it, it's really hard to tell what's going on. There's so much
Oh
chaos.
man,
Um, you
that's
know,
crazy.
I think I've looked at the footage a lot of times. I'll be honest, I can't say that I was able to identify you. I know that there's sort of a rumor going around that you're, like you say, the guy by the door, And
Yeah,
some people have said they think they saw you hand something to somebody, and that
yeah,
maybe
that's not me. Yeah, that's
yeah.
not me. Like I'm out the frame. Listen, all that character, that person that you're referring to, you know what I'm saying? That you know what I'm saying, we all, you know what I'm saying, got a relationship. I'm not here to put nobody on a spotlight, you know what I'm saying? But no, like I'm nowhere by the door. I'm nowhere by the car. Like I'm gone. Like I get shot and I'm limping away. I'm trying to figure out where I got hit at. So I wouldn't know anything of that nature, like cars, key, like the door, to the point where I'm seeing some of these like reactions. I'm hearing some of these stories, and I'm like, bro, y'all do know at that time my dreads was to my back, and how am I shot and I'm moving around like that, like going back door, like, bro, man, I don't know if you guys been shot before. After that adrenaline stopped moving, you stop moving. So I was, I couldn't do all that. I was trying to figure out if I'm gonna die or not.
I feel you, man. I can't say that I was able to identify you in the footage whatsoever. I believe what you're saying. I guess just the other thing I think people want to clear up, just to get your response on it. Obviously there was the situation where the cops opened fire. Ended up shooting two people. One of them unfortunately lost their life. A lot of people have said maybe you were one of the cops, or that you're involved, or some shit
Yeah,
like that. I personally don't believe that, but I don't know whether
crazy.
that's a rumor that you've had to deal with a lot, or whether you kind of have been frustrated by people saying shit like that.
Um, I mean, being frustrated about people making a whole storyline of me being a cop don't make no damn sense. Like, first of all, if I'm gonna be all right, guys, this is real life. This is real. This is like reality, right? I'm an executive. Just because you met me when Vaughn died and you not used to my story, go do your due diligence and go do your research. I've been doing music for over 15 years. I was a rapper, I was selling CDs, I was with Kodak, I was moving around. Like, if you go look at my history, go 100K track makers, whatever you want to call it, you'll see that I've been active in music for a long time. Um, I have no profession but being a artist or being an executive. Now, you living in a world where it's social media and it's media, it's content. Is that with Officer Francois like been shot? Like, where is that even true? Is that even legit? Like, is was Officer Francois even shot that night? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know if that's I don't even know if that's like a edit where they put like a voice. Right, you could do so many things for a story. I'll never know. But personally, if I'm an officer, like I'm a cop, bro, I've been arrested, I've been in jail, I got previous records, prior records, things like that, bro. If I'm a like, I'm not a cop. I'm a regular person doing my living a life that I build and work for, and I've been in unfortunate situations. Yes, my artist is incarcerated. Yes, my artist got shot and got killed. But bro, I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not someone. I can't tell you what's going to happen. All I can do is do my job, is do my work, is do the best that I can do. So if situations happen, I got to deal with it the best way I can. I got to be there for Melly. I got to be there for Vaughn. I got to be there for his family. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm an executive. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. I'm somebody that pride myself in being one of the biggest executives in the music game. I'm 31 years old and I'm in the field making multi millions of dollars selling breaking records. Like I don't have no profession and no dream of being a cop. No disrespect to a cop, no disrespect to the officers. All my life I've been targets by cops. I've been, you know what I'm saying? I've been trying to get out their way, not go to jail, not get arrested, not catch charges. So,
I,
I don't know. I'm not here to paint a picture that I'm like all against police and that they gotta do their job. People gotta do what they gotta do. You know what I'm saying? You got people that's how they provide for their family. But unfortunately, that's not me. You know what I'm saying? I'm what I am, a 100K track, a record label, manager, artist, entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a cop, not an FBI. I don't want to be. Never had intentions to be. Never had aspiring dreams to be. Maybe in a movie I play a cop for sure. I play a police officer. I play whatever. Give me a bag. You know what I'm saying? I play a damn dentist. Whatever. I play Traveler Ross. Whatever y'all want. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, my reality is who I am. I'm an executive. I
No,
can't be a cop.
for real, I think it's a long shot that what I'm saying they're going to send someone undercover. They're going to spend 10 years making them a millionaire music exec, and
Right.
build up the whole career. You know what I'm saying? Have everything go down, and then what I'm saying, all leading up to this moment. It's very far fetched,
Right.
but you know what it's
And then
like with the internet.
what's the and what would be like what would be the goal, right? I didn't know Vaughn life. Like, okay, before Vaughn became an artist, he was a person in Chicago. I'm from Florida. I'm from Broward County, Florida. I'm gonna like I'm gonna be a cop or agent to go under Vaughn when he became a rapper. Like it's just don't it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like what? There's a task force. So we have a FBI task force that's out here to get every upcoming young man or woman that's trying to do music. And like I don't get this shit. It's crazy.
DJ Khaled's probably a Fed undercover too. You know what I'm saying? Khaled, Diddy, all of them got to be.
I guess the story of that happening sounds super interesting to some people, but in reality, let's make it make sense, guys. It got to make it got to be a bigger overall picture. And then okay, so now I'm a cop. My cover is blown. Like, what am I going to do now? Do I just become an executive? Do I go try to work at another force? Like, where
You
does
need
the story go? Like,
you need a transfer,
I want
bro.
to know where it goes. Like, y'all painting the story. Can somebody tell me the ending goal of Officer Francois? I want to know it for myself. With this, it sounds very interesting, and I do want to make a movie about it because it sounds very interesting. But I don't know in a real life scenario where's the ending goal. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be a hell of a movie, man. But listen, I'm happy to kind of move on from the Von stuff. I feel like I've really subjected you to a lot of questioning. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of interrogation. But I'll be honest, man. Like, I'm interested in you just as an individual. Like, obviously, you kind of had your past in the music industry. You know, I've learned your story. You know, you were in music. You were kind of running things there. Maybe in a sort of when the rap game was a little bit different. And then you kind
Right,
of,
more regional.
yeah, and then you came up and kind of got involved with kind of the business side. You know, you were working with the Sniper Gang merch stuff that you made successful. I didn't know until a little while ago like that was you. I'd seen that stuff everywhere, and I'm like, damn, that's Track that was involved in that. So I guess
Yeah,
something I really wanted to ask you actually, because you're kind of getting back into the rap game as a rapper yourself now.
yeah.
How has the game changed from back in the day when you were having your first go as a rapper to now where you're coming in to try again, but also from this position as an exec? So you've kind of seen the business from the bird's eye view from all these different angles. Like, what have you learned about the rap game, I guess, over those experiences?
It changed because social media and streaming. Because back then, if you had to get a record out, you would have to physically sell it or pass it out with CDs, or you would have to use the platforms that is designated for those particular things, like 106 and Park, BT, things like that in that nature. And it was easy. It was make it, but once you do get a little established, then it meant more because it wasn't as much people doing it. Now, where it's a little bit easier to make it, but it's a lot quicker for you to be gone and diminished because there's so many other ways to be seen, heard, and so many music and things getting pushed out. So, I would say this generation now, once you make a name for yourself, you got to really apply it into building. Like me as a rapper again and doing music again, I built a brand that's so huge with 100K. Now I got to keep on building it as a executive, but as an artist. And I'll say that to a lot of other artists. You can't just drop a record anymore and just let time pass. you got to continue building your brand and building yourself, because 3 months later there's another artist, 4 months there's another artist, 6 months there's another artist. It's so fast that if you're not building a core fan base and core people that's like looking for you, it'll be there and gone fast. So it's easier to make it, but quicker to lose it in this generation, I feel
it
like.
it seems like in this generation, man, everything is just instant. You know, songs just drop instantly, artists just drop tapes quickly. You know, people come and go,
Yeah.
people become stars overnight, they fall off and get exposed overnight. So it's
Yeah.
it's a very high risk, high reward game now being a rapper, maybe more so than it was back then, no?
Yeah. Facts.
So
Facts.
so what drove your decision to kind of you've achieved so much as an exec, you know, whether or not the allegations against them hold any water. You know, Von and Melly were two people that came into the rap game over the last few years and just completely shook things up. You know, like you say, very quickly got to these incredible heights. You know, Von was charting on Billboard, working with Lil Durk. You got someone like Melly, you know, he was running around with Kanye, some of the biggest artists in the game, charting hella times. What motivated you to say, you know what, let me get back into rapping, like let me give this another shot? And you know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
what was your mindset when you were making that decision?
Really, it was just time and just like opportunity and just not wanting any regrets, because it's a little different, right? If if I came into this game as executive, like, yo, I'm gonna be a manager, I'm gonna be a record label owner, and I'm gonna do that, and I started with that type of mind frame, then that question and that type of, what I'm saying, stigma, I would understand. But you guys got to realize that's not me. Like, even though the story may sound better like that, but 100K Track wasn't the executive. He wasn't the manager that signed Melly Vaughn and became super successful and broke all the barriers at a young age and early time in his career. You know what I'm saying? I was actually an artist. Like, I started doing music at 16 years old. I'm 30. Just turned 30. You know what I'm saying? So, well, I'm 31 now, but I'm saying I'm in my 30s. I started at 16, and from 16 to 24, all I did was rap. That's all I did was music. Like, I dropped albums, I dropped singles, I went on tour through Florida. I provided for my family as an artist. So it's not like I never had I wasn't an artist. I was an artist. But when I got with Kodak, I made that decision, you know, I'm 24, make that decision to be like, hey, I'm around Kodak. He's blowing up. If I'm in his circle and I'm trying to rap, then what purpose do I serve him? Right? Because he's already rapping. So let me try to find a better purpose where I could help build the brand and help make the brand bigger, rather than try to jump in and make my own situation bigger. And it made more sense 6 years ago at that time for me to do Sniper Gang Apparel, which was the merchandise with me and Kodak to, bring more awareness to the brand, make some more income. And then from there, the opportunity came to manage Jack Boy, Never Look Back. That went good. Had a hit single called Green Miles that took off. That was going around Florida. Then found Melly, signed Melly. He became successful. Then found Bond, then 30 Deep, then Hot Boy. So it's like this, to make it short. I've been in this circle of 5, 6 years as executive where I never had a chance to really pause, because I've been putting in work and I've been putting in that traction. I went from me and my wife to a 15 people staff, 20 people staff. I employed more people. I'm working with more artists. So it's not that I didn't want to do music. I'm focused on what's working and what's building. So fast forward, I'm 30. I'm turning 30. I'm like, okay, I'm established. I got a staff of 18 to 20 people that's working day to day for my company. My artist is established. I'm very well known financially. I'm good. I could do whatever I want to do as far as take care of my bills, take care of my peoples. Why not? Right? Like, you feel me? Why not come back to something that I love? Like when people wanted to be a basketball player or an athlete, I wanted to be a rapper. So me making an adult decision at 24 to go back and to focus on the branding and building a dynasty and building something that I could change my life with and my kids' life with shouldn't hinder me to wanting to do something that I was passionate about. So if I'm at an age where I'm not getting younger, and I'm, you know what I'm saying, I'm at a great age, I'm in an area where my brand is the biggest brand, one of the biggest brands, then I'm why not use those resources for myself and keep doing what I'm doing. Like I just signed a joint venture deal with 300 shout out to Warner Music. So I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying, deviate from being an executive. I love breaking new artists. I love changing young men and young women lives. Shout out to Breezy Lynn in New York, you know what I'm saying? She's one of my new artists that I'm working with, Low 50, with me and Lil TJ from Cleveland. So I'm very excited about breaking artists. But yo, I'm 31 years old, bro. I'm a young man. If I'm gonna do what I want to do, if I'm passionate about music, I'm gonna drop music. I don't do it because I need a payday. I don't do it because I'm trying to prove a point. I do it because I love it. That's what I'm always in the studio. I wrote a lot of records for a lot of people. I've been in every session. I've been doing with executive stuff for 6 years. I've been in almost 1,000 studio sessions. As long as the artist, morning and night, I'm there with them. So I'm always in music. So I don't see it. I don't see nothing to for me not to do it. You know what I'm saying? Why not? Now, if it takes away from me being an executive, if it takes away from my brand, if it takes away from me excelling at what I do on the business side, then yeah, but it don't. It only brings more revenue. It only brings more traction. It only brings more things, more success. So why not do it? LeBron James could play basketball and then coach later, right? Or coach the same
Facts.
thing.
It's interesting, man. It kind of reminds me of like, you probably remember like way back in the day, like when Jay-Z, he dropped the Black album and his whole thing was like, I'm gonna retire from music and just be an exec now. And then he kind of took over Def Jam. And I think maybe
Right.
there was like 3 years between the Black album. I think maybe it was like in 2007. Then he kind of said like, I'm running shit now. I'm gonna be a rapper again. And he came back with that
Right.
album that
Right.
I forget the name of that album he dropped after the Black album, but he had that comeback album, and then he kind of like he was doing both, and that you might remember like that's how he kind of ended up beefing with Joe Budden a little bit because it was like Jay-Z was the exec, but he was also rapping, and then it was kind of
Right.
like
Right.
he's how's this guy's my Def Jam exec, but then he's also rapping and all this stuff. But I think
Right.
that's a really interesting approach. I think it's really smart, and I guess the thing I want to ask you on that front is like you had a shot at the rap game way back. You then decided, okay, let me go behind the scenes. You helped on the business side. You've broken really big artists, and now you're kind of going to jump back into the rap game as a rapper with kind of all the cheat codes that you've picked up
Right.
from being an exec. So, what would your advice be to say an up and coming rapper that's coming up now for the first time? You got all these cheat codes, so you're about to drop a bunch of music, and you know what works, and you're gonna know how to make it move, right? But for the new
Yeah.
generation of artists coming through that maybe doesn't have the knowledge you do and the success you do, what would the cheat codes or the tips that you could share with them be?
You got to be consistent with yourself. If you are with the motions and the waves and steady changing yourself to fit in, then it's never gonna work. But not saying be stuck and not knowing how to adapt. Of course, you got to learn lingos. You got to learn what's going on. You know what I'm saying? What's relevant. But work on building yourself for the long run. Like treat yourself as a brand. Never go into this music scene as an artist saying I'm an artist. Go in there saying I'm a brand, and then let your artistry speak for your brand. You feel me? Because if you build your brand, merch, touring, shows, connections, resources, then your artistry will always be there because you have a brand to fall back on. But if you just focus on just being an artist and not develop your brand could be sound, music, you know what I'm saying, merch, anything you that involves you as a whole is a brand. But if you just come in the rap game or in the music game and you like, I'm just gonna be an artist, then you have to depend on your artistry. And if you're not hot, you're not, you know what I'm saying, on fire right now, or you don't got a single, then what is there to back up your artistry? Because there's nothing there. But if you got a brand, then it's there to back your artistry. Like me, I'm a rapping again, but my brand is built. I could go and touch every infrastructure that I did with my smaller artists and do it. Like I'm gonna go do the smaller platforms because as an artist, I'm starting over. But as a 100K track, I'm already established. So you see what I'm saying? But if I was just focused on a 100K track and not building the brand, then I would have to. It would be a lot harder. So as an upcoming artist, I'm gonna let you know, build on your brand and let your artistry speak for your brand. Don't just focus on your artistry and forget your brand, because then you ain't gonna have that support system.
I feel that, man. Clearly, you're somebody that knows branding, and you've built a solid brand. You know, the amount of hit
Sure.
songs that I've played that start with that intro of like 100K, remain solid, or whatever it is, right? And that
Yeah.
really, I remember that just feeling like that really communicated. Like, you know, you're trying to be, you know, that logo. It's sort of like this solid gold thing that's kind of like you're trying to put yourself across as like the gold standard, you know, 100K management. But I guess it'd
Right.
be good for you to if you wouldn't mind like elaborating maybe on like what does the 100K brand, you know, mean to you, and like what are you trying to communicate with your brand, like, you know, your
Right.
stuff.
The 100K brand is so technically, right, 100 is the level of completion, right?
Mm.
But in life, you have to get to that level every day, every year, every month, every obstacle, every opportunity is one increment to that percentage.
Mm.
So when I say 100K, is not money, it's not finance, but it's more of the mentality. Build yourself up every day to the point where in life, when you reach your 100 goal, where you reach your full, and you never really reach your full. Maybe after death, maybe, who knows? As long as you living, you could always gain a little bit more momentum, gain a little bit more bar. So to 100K mean to me starting from zero and always learning how to get to 100 regardless of what comes in between, the bad, the good, the great, the ugly. Like, look, I'm a walking testimony of 100K. I'm from an island, came here at 5 years old, no family, immigrant with nothing, made something out of myself, came from the struggles, came from the trenches. Even after success, went through adversity, from my artist to myself to my health to my body to everything. And I'm still learning how to get to the 100, right?
Mm.
So that's what it means. And then the remain solid is speak for itself. Once you get to that level in your life where you feel like you complete, or you at your 100 mark, or you there, what do you have to do? Remain solid. Don't get there and be an asshole, or be the degenerate, or be the freaking person that's there. Now you ready to shit on everybody and make everybody feel inferior. Like, come on, bro. If you go through all those obstacles in life and all those success and you become 100, then at least end it with remain solid. Stay
Damn,
solid and
that's
keep going.
it's deeper than I thought, man. I really like that explanation. You know, it's kind of inspiring.
You
um
know.
I guess just that, you know, I think we've covered a lot of really good stuff, man, and you know, I really appreciate your time. I guess just the last thing I want to ask you is just you know, what's next for 100K track? I know you're releasing stuff, you got music coming up, obviously your artists have got
Mhm.
stuff coming up, but what should the people look out for and go and check for when it comes to 100K track?
Um, Really, just, man, just I'm just trying to live life, and you know what I'm saying, just be a better person. I just, I'm in this mode now where I'm a parent now. I'm a first time parent. I got my son that's, what I'm saying, turning 10 months. He's, what I'm saying, I got my daughter that was just born last month on the 15th, so she's about to be a month. I'm learning just being I'm learning human, like being a human, a better human. So what you could expect from me is just making better decisions. What I'm saying, being more calm and less angry, and more, what I'm saying, more understanding, and understanding that people make mistakes. Like, don't judge nobody based on their actions today. See what's going on, and, what I'm saying, it might be it's always a more to the story than what meets the eye. So with 100K track, just I'm just getting better, just learning more, being a better business plan, being a better person, being a better father, being a better friend, and, what I'm saying, being a better entertainer, because I consider myself an entertainer. I entertain y'all. Y'all got so much stories on me. I'm pretty sure I made a lot of people day or months of stories that y'all have. So I'm just learning how to be a better person overall. As far as my brand, I just did my joint venture deal with 300. Shout out to You know what I'm saying? Everybody at the 300 family. Shout out to Warner Music. I'm very excited about that. So now I'm able to sign more people at a higher rate, you know, give more opportunities, and so I'm change more lives. I'm looking for more people that want to be involved in the business as executives to teach them the game. You know what I'm saying? Just all around the board, just trying to make a difference in life as a human. Because at the end of the day, once you get the money, you get the fame, you get the power, you get everything you want, it all boils down to what you could do next for the next person or how you could change the next generation or the next life. So my whole 100K track, 100K brand remain solid movement going forward into 2023 is just what I could do to improve as a person and what I could do to improve other conditions and other people.
Amazing, man. I think that's super inspiring. And, I think you're a really good shining example of just somebody that's, come out of a difficult situation. You've been through a lot of difficult situations. Hell, not even that long ago, I'm saying you were going through some difficult stuff, but you're somebody that's come through, become an exec, become a huge success. And, you've brought some of the biggest artists in the rap game in recent years, bro. So, I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful for you making the time to talk to me today. I felt like we had a really good, positive conversation. And thank you, man. Anytime you wanna speak again, or if you got stuff to promote, I'd be happy to tap in with you. And appreciate you, man. I want to see you keep winning.
No, for sure, and vice versa. And there's a lot of people. And, I'm gonna just say it. I know you rubbed a lot of people the wrong way with the serial killer thing, and you know what I'm saying, I'm not here to be a foe. You know what I'm saying, and you somebody that I see a lot of work that you put in for your platform, and regardless, it's your opinion, and nobody can put you in a light or try to make you into something that you're not. You know what I'm saying? You're not trying to get nobody in jail. You're not trying to get nobody incarcerated. You're just somebody doing their job and doing it at the highest level. And you know what I'm saying? Shout out to you and anybody that's a fan of Vaughn or family of Vaughn. Hey man, let's not you know what I'm saying? Let's not do it like that. Like at the end of the day, if you don't feel like this man content is valid to what it is to you and what you know, then respectfully, that's your opinion. But let's not make it to where it's something deeper than what it is. It's content, it's opinionated, and it's expression. So I'm saying shout out to you, and keep doing your thing. And hopefully one day I'll keep putting in work where Trap Lord will do a 100K track series and maybe let people know a couple things and show a side where they never seen, because a lot of people don't know the selling CDs and the sniper gang and the deep in the Florida trenches. So that's an interesting story too. So maybe one day that'll hit your radar and we'll have more conversations about that. But I'm definitely a fan of what you do. I'm not against what you said, and I'm not for what you said. But I will stand on that. Vaughn never been convicted, never been charged, and that's the fact of it. Everything else is your opinion, and you did the work, you put in the research, you had a great content. You damn near had a moment in history where that's all everybody was talking about. So hey, keep doing your thing, my brother. Just like you give me my flowers, I'm giving you yours. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it going.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. I really didn't mean any disrespect. It was really meant to be like a real close look at the things that Von said and that he hinted at, and like you say, he wasn't convicted, but at the same time, I think as fans, we're all online talking about and speculating on the things he'd said and did and all that kind of thing. And I spent the time, spent a few months, and put it all into one video for people to understand. And I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting it to make the big splash that it did. Honestly, like
No, he did, bro.
It's the biggest
He
thing
did.
I've ever done. But I'm saying
It's
hopefully.
it's a culture moment. It's in a culture, and you know what I'm saying. And away from good bad shit, thank you on the business side. Vaughn is about to drop his album. You know what I'm saying? Where a couple singles coming out, and I'm in. He's in a rollout. So all the Vaughn fans, music is coming, and you did a great job of bringing that conversation about him and bringing just the Vaughn presence and lighting us back to the world. And this shit been the concept topic of conversations for weeks and months, where my podcast with academic became your title for your stuff. So obviously, what I'm saying, what I'm saying, like from the Vaughn camp and the Vaughn side, what I'm saying, shit, thank you, because you're bringing the conversation up and you're bringing his name up. So it is what it is. What I'm saying, I don't got to agree with you to let you know that appreciate you, and we got a rollout coming, and the album dropping soon, and y'all pay attention. and y'all find out if we talk about more bodies or not.
Facts, facts.
I'm gonna leave it with that cliffhanger. Tune into the album.
For real, man. Hey, one more thing I got to ask you because I was so curious. I didn't even think of asking you this. But did Devon's streaming numbers? Did he get a little bit of a jump when that video was going so viral? Like I was thinking, I hope his
Of
numbers at
course,
least went up for you guys. You know what I'm saying?
no, it went up. It went up like crazy.
Damn.
It went up to the point where, on the business side, you damn near woke everybody up. So all the Vaughn fans thank Trap Lord for that, because messing with his little crazy self and this damn Vaughn thing, we're pressing the button a little bit sooner.
Hey, listen, I know everybody watching this is going to be hyped to listen to a new Von project, me included. So,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? We're all excited for that. You know, I'm glad that we could connect, have a good conversation. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you could put a good word in, and hopefully none of the Von crew that are saying they're going to shoot me, hopefully that don't happen. You know what I'm saying?
I got you, bro. I mean, me on the phone with me on this call with you to help out a lot, because a lot of people they take my word and they take my judgment. So if I'm on here saying, "Yo, let this man," the man was doing a job. If you know what you know, and Vaughn never been convicted, so you can't put no jacket on him. So uh, obviously, it is what it is.
Hmm.
So you know what I'm saying. It shouldn't be that deep. So nah, you should be good, man. You should be fine.
Appreciate that, man. Well, once again, man, thank you for coming on. Thank you for everybody that stopped in and watched. And, you know what I'm saying, 100K track. Catch you soon.
Long live Vaughn. Let's do it. I don't know how to hang up on this shit.
All right. I've